Welcome back to the Blindsiders. I am joined here by Brian. We're here to talk about episode 12 of Survivor 41, the final 6 episode and the penultimate episode of the season. And we are also here to talk about losing Danny as our 6th place contestant. 1 episode short of making the finale.
Yes, tough stuff for Danny, but really good sport about it. I guess when you've played in the NFL, like, what's a game of Survivor? Really? You know?
Yeah. I mean, there have been former professional athletes in the past on Survivor who have been less than good sports, in my opinion. So
That's true. That's very true.
It's not exactly a guarantee. But yeah, absolutely. Danny was like in my opinion, a huge breath of fresh air for the season. Really great character, even though he was like kind of like a more minor character for how far he got. I think that I would definitely be interested in seeing him return if we're talking about potential second chances too. It's in the rumor mill.
Hey, I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibilities that we do see Danny again. I think he brought a lot to the table, and especially last episode, we really got to, get inside his head, get to know him a lot more than a lot of contestants get, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And in this episode, he also held a more prominent role than he has in the past as well, in some of the strategy and some of the different things that were going on. But I guess before we jump into all that, we start the episode like a 5-minute segment that kind of is conversations going over some of the stuff from the previous tribal council. They talk about race, and then Deshaun was having a lot of one-on-one conversations with people, giving further thoughts from his perspective. I thought it was a pretty nice way to kind of transition and not just hard cut from that tribal council back into the game.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there were probably lots of things, probably way more than we even saw of discussions there, and especially with Erica talking about voting off Liana was tough for her because she wants to see a woman win the game. I believe it was Dalton Ross tweeted during the episode that 12 of the last 15 6 seasons straight have been men winners. So I didn't know about the 12 of the last 15. In my mind, I had thought it would have been decently even until they started putting in some real dumb changes. But it really has been a male dominated game lately. So I thought that was important for her to share. I thought Heather as kind of maybe an audience proxy for some of the people who are not too into, why does Survivor have to have politics in it crowd, being this is something I never considered, something that I'm glad I have, been a part of, and I'm going to take that with me. I hope that, some people are open to hearing that. We'll see, obviously. And, I think, it was just good for Deshaun to kind of talk about it, not just in the heat of the moment, but having time to reflect a little bit more on the situation as a whole and kind of talk to the audience after that.
Yeah, I mean, from a perspective of changing the Facebook wacko crowd mind, I don't think a 5-minute segment is really going to be
Probably not. Probably
the thing
not.
that does it. Obviously from Heather's perspective, if she does come away with a newer perspective on things, it probably came from hours of conversations with people that she has a personal connection with, which I think is a much easier way for somebody to be more open to digesting other people's perspectives on things. But
Survivor, it's like colleges where you go there and you meet people from all different backgrounds and you get to understand life a little bit better. This is what it is for older people now, I guess.
Just reality TV. Just go on a reality show.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, and that was like pretty much it. We go right from that into the reward challenge.
Mhm.
And I didn't think there was a ton to take away from the reward challenge.
No, I will just say one, Xander, amazing dive, really, really impressive.
Mhm,
But two, the have been doing this thing with the release, like a preview for
mhm,
it, and the preview spoiled the challenge winning. So it's like, okay, like it was the preview was the section where Erica and Deshaun are at the well talking, and Erica's like, well, maybe this three of the chicken reward,
mhm.
and it's like, okay, so they win a reward together, and so it took a lot of the excitingness out of or rather the excitement out of the challenge for me.
All right, I'm glad I missed that promo then.
Yes.
The other thing that I wanted to point out was Deshaun awkwardly asking for letters from home,
I know.
uh, which is like, I mean, to be fair, on the podcast we've talked about how the rewards this season have been extremely underwhelming.
Dude, I was thinking about that too. Even in this one, like they don't go anywhere, and maybe it's because of
Yeah,
COVID.
it's
Like you
it's
can't go
100% because of COVID. Yeah.
places, but like, because like we've seen the various locations in Fiji that they can at least go and like have a
Hmm.
cool time with, but I guess it's not this season. This season you get either a camp out at the edge of extinction, or you just go back to camp and sit away from everyone else.
Yeah. No, they get the leftovers from the cruise catered lunch.
Yes.
Um, and I also
I also really
loved,
loved either or. Can't
yeah,
even give them both.
yeah. Also, the either or was just so dumb. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, like you're gonna pick the chicken and veggies. It's like,
I know.
well, yeah, unless you're like a 5-year-old, like there's no way on Survivor you're ever picking cake and cookies over chicken and veggies. Like, it's just, especially this deep into the game. Like, maybe you would pick it on like day 5, but like
Yeah.
this deep into
No,
the game, no way.
no, Jeff. I would love to shit my pants.
Yeah,
Actually, this sounds
yeah.
great.
It's like, oh man, I don't know. Um,
Yeah, there's no real choice there if you thought about it for more than 1 second. I'm sure like there was the 1 second where it's like, oh, cookies, what? And then they were like, oh no, obviously I need chicken. I
yeah,
need some veggies.
yeah. If Angie Layton was there, maybe she would.
Yeah, Angie would have turned the ship into the cookies. I mean,
Mhm,
as she should.
mhm.
It's one thing that tribe needed. Could have changed history.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess the reward challenge only really mattered insofar as we got this grouping that you referenced of Deshaun, Xander, and Erica, where they make this final 3 deal that might matter still going forward. It didn't matter in this episode, but they're still all in the game technically. So it might end up mattering. Um, but I'm hopeful that it at least sort of matters because otherwise we spent like the entire first half of this episode talking about strategy that ultimately won't pan out to anything.
Right.
But yeah, what are your thoughts here? Because like we already went over that I think we both agree that leaving Ricard in the game last week was a mistake, at least for Erica and possibly also for Xander.
I mean, he looks like such a beast. I have to be honest. Like,
Hmm.
there's a very, very legitimate chance that he wins the next immunity challenge, and then he has fire at worst case that he
Yep.
probably can do too. So, I mean, it seemed like a mistake, and if he wins, good on him for tricking these fools into sticking with him one round too long.
Yeah, no, I think yeah, and we also referenced it in terms of like this kind of lose-lose situation that a lot of people are always in Survivor,
Mm,
and we referenced it with Shan when the Shan move was made as well, where it's very difficult to be a person who spearheads a play against like the big bad or the big threat
mm,
because that just takes their target and shifts it to you. And if
Mm-hmm.
you do it too early, then there's still time for you to get taken out. And there's always like this fight for that Goldilocks zone of like taking the person out at like just the right moment so that you're able to ride out the threat level that you've placed on yourself for the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
We thought the Ricard would not be able to do it, and that 8 was probably too soon to take a shot at Shan. But it seems like he might have at least like hit the he might have found a path, right, that
Mm-hmm.
we didn't see.
Yeah, and I mean, good on him if that's the case. I do think that the rest of the cast is kind of in the mindset of like Ricard gets to the end, Ricard wins.
Yep.
So he'll have at least 3 people going to the jury with that mindset, which might be enough to sway a few more people to get that, W. What we don't know who the rest of the jury's rooting for. It seemed they were fond of Danny when Danny went off tonight, but we don't know how they feel necessarily about Ricard. We don't know how Shan necessarily feels about Ricard, though probably not negatively, considering she, didn't seem to harbor ill will toward him on her way out. But yeah, I think it's important. Like, you look at seasons like Ghost Island, where like the jury was perfectly split. The first 4 people going out all voted for Dom. The last 4 people voting out all voted for Wendell, and then the 5th member of the jury voted for Wendell. Like, it does matter how you close out games and what the perception is.
Yeah, I tend to be a person who puts more weight on end game play
Mm-hmm.
than like early game play, uh, in terms of like the way I would like analyze who played a situation better or a season
Mm-hmm.
better or is playing
Right.
Survivor better. I think it's way harder to navigate like the back half of a Survivor game than the front half of it, where
Right.
it's more about just like not making mistakes and just kind of setting up relationships
Mm-hmm.
for the most part. So yeah, um, definitely like the last 5 to 6 rounds in the game are like where it really matters that you make an
Mm-hmm.
impression, in my opinion.
Yeah. So you're saying you can't win Survivor early, but you can lose.
Yes, exactly, 100%. I think that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we can move on to like the one conversation that seems to actually sort of matter because it gets brought up at it gets brought up at tribal
Mm-hmm.
council,
Yeah.
which is this seed that Deshaun sets in Erica's head. He plants a Deshaun seed that's definitely gonna work out for him 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, and he dropped a truth bomb. Some might say a Ben bomb. Who knows? Although those are more idol related
yeah.
than anything. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure Heather is thinking like, well, is there enough to differentiate my game and Heather's? I'm sorry, Erica is thinking that
I guess
about
you just
Heather.
answered it.
Yeah. Heather, I don't know what Heather's thinking, to
Yeah.
be quite honest, but um, from what we've seen, kind of assumed that Erica would be the one looked on more favorably in that twosome, especially since literally the pre-merge people have been telling us she's a threat.
Mhm.
And if she got to the end after a whole season of people seeing her as a threat, I'd find it hard to see people being like, "Oh no, you actually weren't a threat," you
Mhm.
know. So I don't know how well this is going to work for Deshaun.
Yeah, I just don't like. I don't know if there's something we're not seeing
Mm-hmm.
really, in terms of like, in terms of like people's perception of Heather and her game. But from my perspective, the you need to differentiate yourself from this person in terms of gameplay only really matters if that person is perceived as playing well. And I don't see that people are perceiving Heather positively.
Yeah.
But it's hard for us to tell, obviously, because we're not shown a ton of her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So I don't really think that argument really kind of holds water in this instance.
Yeah. I
Uh,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, he's like, oh, well, we'll all have different things to argue. It's like, okay,
Hmm.
yes, Heather will have the same case as me, and I think my case is better than Heather, so that's good for me because
Exactly.
that takes her out of the running if I'm, pleading the same case a little bit better.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, we just mentioned in Ghost Island, Don and Wendell, I think, is a good example of
Hmm.
a situation where it makes sense for somebody to argue, oh, you need to actually differentiate yourself from this other person in some way because your
Hmm.
games are so similar. And both
Yeah.
of them are considered to have played the two best games in that season,
Mm.
so it makes sense
Yeah.
for either of them to be worried about that into a jury vote. But when you have somebody like Ricard still in the running, somebody
Mm.
even like Deshaun himself still in the running, like it's not an argument that makes sense at all.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. I guess like I appreciate that he tried
Yeah,
something. It just wasn't a good one.
right. I just don't know. I don't really know what Deshaun's path forward is. I guess his path forward is Ricard is vulnerable at the final five, and everyone's like, okay, we have to take Ricard out.
Mm.
And then Deshaun wins his way into the final three and sits next to basically any combination of the other three and probably wins.
Yeah. I do think he has a decent chance of winning if he gets to the end.
Mm.
I just it's hard for me to see how he's gonna do it. Um, he very clearly just has no control in what's happening. Like he has no input that's gonna really matter. He just
Yep.
needs to hope things break perfectly for him.
Yeah, I think that, I guess the plus side that he does have is coming out of this episode, he does stick around, partially because of his relationships, but also partially because people weirdly think that he's better in challenges than Danny. And so everyone's like, okay, we have to beat Ricard. Yeah, and I think that Deshaun is marginally better to beat him than Danny. Um,
Yeah, I think
so,
I'd like to think that Heather's argument there was not really what she was thinking. It was more like I trust Deshaun more than Danny, but I need to spin this.
yeah,
Uh,
Erica, you mean.
what I thought so. Erica pitched it to
Ricard.
Ricard, but
Yeah.
there's another scene where Xander and Heather were talking,
Oh,
and
okay.
Xander was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I'm pretty sure Danny has the best chance to win outside of like Ricard and myself, probably." And then Heather's like, "Yeah, but you know, Deshaun shot the basketball really well, and he almost did good on the puzzle."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, I don't know if I buy that, but sure."
Yeah. No, for sure. I think in both cases it's probably like I have a better relationship with Deshaun,
Mm,
so I feel like, I feel more comfortable moving forward in the game with him than Danny.
yeah. I mean, it's a good move for those two in terms of like having options now, because they really do call the shots at this point. Because they can probably swing to Sean and he'll be like, "Fuck yeah, like whatever you want, I'm down."
Yeah. Not going home sounds better than
Yeah.
going home.
Yep. So this should be
Yeah.
interesting. And we talked about it last time. This was the last chance for Xander to use his idol, correct?
This is I don't know. It wasn't brought up.
No, it
Uh
wasn't, which is
so
annoying.
I feel like if it were, it should have been brought up, and I feel like Xander would have played it,
Yeah,
right? Because
yeah.
there's no reason for him not to play it because everyone knows he has it.
Hmm.
So it's not like hiding it like hides information. Um, so I feel like he might maybe we're wrong. I don't know. Maybe I think we're either wrong or uh, he just was that confident
Just
and
wanted a
that
souvenir, I
he wanted a
guess.
souvenir. But there was in the preview for next week. It looked like they were scrambling for something. I don't know what that
Yeah,
something was though. So
yeah. What was the dumb twist at the final like five of Island of the Idols that Dean got? Do you remember? Like
oh,
I don't know. I just remember he had a bunch of shit all at once.
Yeah, was this the one where Tommy solved it, but he was colorblind, so he couldn't
Yeah,
solve the clue
yeah,
or something like that?
yeah. I think it
Yeah,
was an idle nullifier, and he used it on
me.
Janet.
Yeah, I think that was the final. That was the final six, though. I think.
Final six, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know. I don't remember much of that season, to be frank.
any
I
any
try.
chance Boston Rob and Sandra's house is still there, and that's where they're sending them?
I mean, that would be nice. I don't think they were doing that though. It sounds like they want to just
No.
torture them for the last 3 days. You
Yeah,
know?
no. It definitely seems like we're paying for the edge of extinction. We're using this island, so
Yeah.
that's where you're all going because that's what it looked like in the preview. Was
It
the
probably
edge?
is. It probably is that same
Yeah.
island. Yeah. Maybe this is like a last minute thing because Jeff was pissed off at Deshaun for not caring about the food reward. He's like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
you think that you're so full up on food that you're willing to give it up for a family letter? Okay, then you can starve the last 3 days for all I care.
My life is fine.
Yeah.
um, yeah, we'll get to that. I don't want to get too tangent off, but
Yeah.
Immunity Challenge, Ricard, beast, absolute beast,
Yeah,
very impressive.
that's like the first immunity challenge in like 7 episodes that wasn't a some form of endurance style.
Yes.
So yeah, it proves that Ricard can win non-endurance style challenges.
Yeah, and like I don't know what he was talking about when he was like, I was thinking about every four-letter
Yeah.
word in this game. It's like, are there a lot? There's idle and fire and vote, and two of those three weren't included. So I'm
I
like,
guess game itself also was
game,
yeah.
and that was not there either.
Was it not there? I thought it was.
Um, don't
I don't know.
don't let tonight's vote or don't let
Don't make it
this
was
don't make this vote your last.
this.
Something
Don't
like
make this
that.
next vote your last. I think it was.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was
Yeah,
vote.
vote,
That's good.
vote, vote was the only relevant Survivor term in there, really.
Mm,
Every other one was just a basic four-letter word.
yep. So when he was saying that, I was like, "What the fuck?" But Jeff loved
Yeah,
it. So
yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, it seemed like he just kind of solved it normally.
yep, exactly. There, you can see there's a moment where he like figured it out and he like tore it down and rebuilt it.
Yeah.
So that's I think it's more that he solved it in that moment.
Hmm.
But hey, who knows?
I was glad to see there was a number of people this season doing an homage to Chrissy by putting their U's upside down.
Yeah, no, I mean, um, this is important. It was Ben on that season, right? He put it
Hmm.
in, and Chrissy won, or yeah, Chrissy won immunity. So I'm
Hmm.
sure Ben, wherever he is, had a rough night watching this one. Not that he
Yep.
lost and it mattered, but yeah, that was an interesting moment. I think that would be such an infamous moment if he got voted off there.
Yeah.
But no, we can't have fun and cool and interesting things.
Yeah. Now it's just like a one-off thing that gets referenced in stupid situations like this.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh man. What else? I guess that's about it for this challenge. It is funny
Yeah.
that like, oh, we get to vote Ricard off and then Ricard wins. I always like that, as we talked about. Um, but yeah, I will say Xander has impressed me, going from the bottom to just not even an option to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, I'm just completely writing off Xander's possibility to win. He has no story at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He is just kind of there. He keeps saying like, "Oh, I'm making these decisions for a strategic reason, for this, and this reason." But
Mm-hmm.
it's not really panning out, and doesn't really seem like he has a path to win. So yeah, I think it's like 75% Ricard wins, 25% Deshaun wins at this point.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it would just be like so ironic though. Like this season is the season where we're talking about like race and all this stuff, and just like the white bro wins the game. They'd be like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
there's that.
It would,
Um,
it would be
nothing against that. I mean, I'm a
No.
white bro too, so it's
Yeah,
like
no,
it
no.
is what it is. But like,
It would be
it's
on
just
brand. Well,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Yeah.
yeah. Oh man. But yeah. So I guess the real back half of the one, shades of Vanuatu way back in the day of all right, we just gotta vote for each other and see what everyone else does.
Hmm.
Here, I enjoyed that there was like a reason, and the reason was Deshaun just made more inroads
Hmm.
throughout the season, and Danny did not. Although Danny apparently was like feet from an idol. I don't know if that was like the trick of editing or whatnot, but he could have had it. Could have had it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. I'm curious what your thoughts are. This would be an actual kind of Predator's Dilemma setup that, would arise kind of naturally within the game.
Hmm.
What would your thoughts be on Danny and Deshaun agreeing to both do the shot in the dark? Actually, the shot in the dark's done now, right?
It's
Last week
done
was the
now.
last.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
it's
this would have been an interesting time for it to make sense. So,
hmm, yeah.
yeah. Never mind.
um, I
It's
mean,
an interesting thought experiment, but yeah.
I definitely, as a player, would hope that I could trick my fellow person into
Yeah.
not voting for me
Yeah.
and then vote them off. But
Yeah,
I
that's
don't.
kind of like the play I was going to go for, but the shot in the dark is
Yeah,
gone now, so it's not even an interesting play that could have happened.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
What
yeah,
a great twist. Really, really, really made a lot of impact in the game.
it
Uh,
really did. Again, at one time it was
yeah,
no. It really was the round trip ticket twist all over again.
yeah,
Like just something that loomed and never paid off.
yeah. It was like Chekhov's gun if the gun never went off. Yeah.
Right. Oh man. So I guess yeah, like you said, we don't have a ton to talk about in this episode. Very straightforward. We liked Danny. We enjoyed him. We would love to see him come back. Um, what do you think of Deshaun's like Deshaun bomb, truth bomb, whatever? Was there any
Um.
chance that was gonna work out, or I mean, not
Well,
work out? Was that any chance it was gonna blow up in his face, or was they were all just locked in, no matter
no, I
what?
think. Well, I mean, I guess in this like world of live tribals, like anything can happen. And so in that instance, it's probably always better to just do nothing.
Yeah.
Despite what Gabby Pascuzzi, might inform you to do
Yeah.
through telekinesis or something. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's like I think you do anything you can and leave everything on the court when you know it's you, right? But when it's like a 50-50 between you and somebody else, it's like it's very risky to do what Sean did and essentially burn all the potential bridges that he could have had headed into the next round in the chance that he would survive the 50-50, which he did.
Mm.
So yeah, I don't love it. Yeah, I think it's another instance of Deshaun doing something that I would consider strategically poor and it's not mattering, at least so far. And it still might not matter just because Ricard is that big of a threat.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was just like, okay, so like this is not really something a winner would do, so
yeah,
it makes it like less likely to me that he wins.
yeah,
But then again, it's like who wins then? Ricard, right? That's
yeah,
the only
yeah.
like answer here. So
No, I agree. I think that while Deshaun has got a lot of positive content in the last few
mm,
episodes,
a lot of
uh, he,
gumption, as you
yeah,
said.
a lot of gumption for sure.
Mm,
He's also had like his share of negative content as well.
mm,
That I agree, like casts a lot of doubt on his story as like a story of like the winner. It
yeah.
doesn't really particularly make a lot of sense for him to be basically like set up as like making all of these like quite obvious mistakes and
Mm,
blunders, um, and and then like kind of back into a win.
yeah. as much as I want him to, obviously, as
Oh,
we
for
would
sure. Yeah,
like it
obviously,
just
yeah. For your, like, I mean, you already, Survivor 42. You
sure
have
the
the number one pick.
draft winner.
Yeah. Um,
I gotta start scouting. I know the cast is out there somewhere,
yeah.
but I don't want to spoil myself on anything accidentally. So
Yeah. Yeah.
when we get the like 1 minute 30-second trailer next week, I'll be really looking in depth at
Mhm.
who pops and what's happening there.
Mhm. Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah. In conclusion, didn't love it.
Yeah.
It's fine to do as like a Hail Mary if you know it's you, but
Mm.
in a situation where you could be fine, regardless of whether or not you do it, it's kind of an unnecessary high risk, low reward play.
Right. So yeah. Other than that, we talked about it a little bit, right? What are your thoughts on Jeff making them go to an island at night and fight for their lives?
I mean, I guess there's going to be a reason,
Mm.
like a game mechanic reason, probably based off of the preview.
Mm.
But still seems dumb. Like it's just that like what value is this going to add? I guess to the end game, right? Like they're already pretty starving, right?
Yeah.
Like they
Right.
don't have to starve additionally for 3 more days. Like that's not going to make the end game better, right? Like the end
Right.
game's already pretty fucked anyways because of the fire baking challenge. So
Right.
there's only one interesting round left.
Mm.
And if they're introducing some other weird game mechanic twist or like a last minute idle, then that round might actually be uninteresting anyways. So
Mm.
it just kind of seems like they're starving them for fun at this point.
Yeah.
It's just like some kind of like masochistic or sadistic tendency or whatever.
Yeah. I guess like how do you speed run like that last stretch of 10 days
You know?
in 3 days?
Yep.
Because I do think we've seen it a lot, like where people just kind of fade on the final stretch.
Yeah.
And it's just so fucking hard to play Survivor for that long and to starve. So I guess Jeff wanted to make that, but yeah, I don't think there's gonna be any like increased gameplay, no like split second decisions that change everything here. I think if anything, making them more starved will stifle gameplay.
Yep.
You know.
We've talked about it, I think, before here, and we've definitely talked about it on Have Not Room with Big
Mm.
Brother in terms of like the Have Not twist,
Yeah.
where like from a viewer perspective, it's like marginal in terms of how much it affects the viewing experience.
Mm.
But as far as like people being like mentally and physically broken down generally leads to like less interesting gameplay because people's like minds aren't working great and they're like more lethargic, so they're less willing to put in the effort to do more interesting things.
Mm.
So I don't know. I understand that like Survivor, at least separately from Big Brother, is a game where the survival aspect is still like a major element, but
Mm.
like I don't really get the like I don't know the weird kind of fetishization of like making it as difficult as possible
Mm.
from a survival aspect.
Nah, I don't get it either.
You know?
But hey, we've almost made it, Ben.
Yeah,
It flew by. It really,
it did.
really flew by.
It did. Yeah,
I
it was,
cannot believe it's been 12 weeks.
yeah. We have one week from tonight. We'll be watching the finale and seeing who our 39th unique winner of Survivor is.
Yes, it'll be exciting,
Yeah.
and we'll be here to cover it. And then we'll be gone for a little bit
Mm-hmm.
until Celebrity Big Brother. So I don't know. We
Yep.
got to find something to put on this channel.
Mhm.
Maybe subscribe to our Twitch at twitch.tv/ we get everything for some stuff
Yeah.
happening there. But
Yeah. Very
yeah,
cryptic.
very cryptic. But yeah, for now, the slate is clean.
Yeah. One more week. We're definitely gonna have Dylan back.
Mm.
It's it sucked that a lot of things have come up that have
Yeah.
led him to miss a lot of this season. Even this is the first season he's watched live, and the first season that we're covering it as a threesome. But yeah, we'll have him back for the finale, and then season 42. Hopefully, it'll be a lot smoother riding.
Hmm.
Fingers crossed. Um, yeah, we'll be back for Celebrity Big Brother U.S. season 3. There's rumors spreading through TMZ that there might be this weird
Oh
celebrity
yeah.
survivor thing that if it's a thing that happens and is not like some trash reality show that they're trying to like make sound good by saying it's like Survivor, we'll probably end up covering that. But stay
We
tuned.
gotta see what it is.
Yeah, we
First.
need more details before we
Yeah.
commit to covering it. Because if it's like if it's just a rehash of something like I'm a celebrity, get me out of here, I don't think we're gonna be covering that. But if it is legitimately like a celebrity version of Survivor, we'll probably be covering that. Yeah.
Yeah. Best case celebrity version of Survivor. Worst case, Celebrity Get Me Out of Here. Medium case, Real Gilligan's Island
Yeah.
style. So
Something like that, or like
yeah.
the Expedition Robinson style kind of game with celebrities and short. Um,
That'd
yeah.
be so ironic if the Survivors, the American version of Expedition Robinson, but because of like a technicality, CBS is able to make like Expedition Robinson Celebrity
Yeah.
in the U.S. while circumventing Mark Burnett and his production.
Yeah.
That'd be spicy, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is because I feel like if it were Celebrity Survivor, they would just come out and say, "Hey, there's going to be a Celebrity Survivor," right?
Yeah.
The
I don't
fact that they're
think Jeff
saying,
wants that. Or maybe he does. Maybe he does. He
yeah,
has, like, in the past hinted that he would want Neil Patrick Harris to play, and Nick Offerman said that he almost was on Survivor.
yeah.
Did you hear that? Like, he was almost out there on David versus Goliath, and then last minute switched out.
I didn't know that, but I know that Nick Offerman and his wife Megan Mullany are both big fans of Survivor, and Nick
Yeah.
Offerman in particular is a big fan. I think like Jenna Fisher also is somebody who's a big fan of Survivor. Like there was like a handful of like A to B list to C list celebrities that are at least familiar enough with the show, where it
Yeah.
could be interesting if they made an actual celebrity version, similar to how Celebrity Big Brother US has been, in my opinion, a pretty good product.
And rumor has it, we may be getting a Celebrity Big Brother contestant
Yeah.
on the Celebrity Survivor in Meta World Peace. Literally the last person I would have expected for them to go back to, considering he hopped the wall of the Big Brother house in an attempt to escape, allegedly. He
Yeah.
didn't say that on the TV, but that's what was said. So I'm surprised they would want him for something harder than Celebrity Big Brother, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's like he's more willing to be away from his wife, right? That was the issue. Like it was like,
He's
oh,
like,
I
wow,
can't.
COVID made us spend a lot of time together. I would love to go to an island. Actually, that sounds
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah. No, I mean, like I really enjoyed Meta World Peace. Is he?
Oh, loved him.
Didn't he change his name back again to like?
Oh, is he Ron Artest again?
I think it's like I think he found like some kind of halfway position where he kept one half of each of the names. I have to look this up to make
It's
sure.
like Meta Artest,
Yeah, maybe something like that. Yeah.
Ron World Peace.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember what it was, but I'm pretty sure he rechanged his name. Maybe I don't know. I'll double check that. But I like Meta World Peace as a name.
Yeah,
That's
he's
unique.
wonderful.
And yeah, he was a lot of fun. Like all of the time he was on Big Brother, where he wasn't talking about quitting, was amazing. So if he were to go on a Celebrity Survivor style game and not quit, that would be good.
That'd be really nice. All right, so enough of promo for other stuff. Other than that, I guess follow me on Twitter at @theFakeBMar. That's BMARR, and I'm on Wicked Good Sports almost every single day of the week. Follow us there and like on TikTok and all that.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Ben Share, on the main channel on Twitter at WG Everything, and then Wicked Good Everything on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, and then the main YouTube channel. This is the podcast channel on YouTube, Better Radio, and then, of course, this is the Blindsiders on all major podcasting platforms. And as Brian said, the Twitch channel is important if you're interested in reality TV. We haven't been really using it very much since I did like my Among Us streams in the spring and summer.
Yeah.
So
Those were
it's been a
fun, but
while.
Among Us got a little stale, so we gotta
Yeah,
find something else to stream.
yeah. So Brian and I have been cooking up an idea for like 2 years at this point,
Mm-hmm.
and we're close to hopefully being able to launch it. So if you're interested in reality TV, go and drop a follow at Wicked Good Everything on Twitch, and hopefully sometime in the next month or so we'll have some content there for you.
And we'll give a hint, if you are plugged into streaming at all, the reason it will be on Twitch is, well, something that a very big streamer named Ludwig is struggling with here on YouTube. That is the reason why I will not be on here.
Yeah, we might be able to put two and two together as to what our content might comprise of. But yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Yeah, we'll be back next week to cover the finale of Survivor 41. Other than that,
Very exciting.
very exciting. Yeah, see you then.
Thanks for watching, everyone.